Welcome to the Overboard Show, the most dangerous podcast in wrestling. And my name is Antonio from No Marks Allowed. And we got to get straight to it. Survivor Series 2024 was a movie. And I admit I like AEW better than WWE, but this is what WWE gets that AEW doesn't. It's payoffs. Now, not to get off topic, but we just seen Orange Cassidy and Jon Moxley wrestle, and Moxley wins. After Moxley has been running roughshod over AEW, that he had AEW's main title multiple times, the payoff would have been great if Orange Cassidy would have defeated Jon Moxley and won the AEW title at Full Gear, just like the last time he lost it in Newark at Full Gear, MJF. But AEW got this shit wrong. They always get the payoff shit wrong. But WWE gets this payoff shit right to the T. And they did it with the Women's Royal Rumble match, which was amazing. Tiffany Stratton cash in and Io Shirai stopping her with the fire extinguisher was gold. Rhea Ripley hitting Liv Morgan with the riptide after Liv Morgan injured her face, and seeing Rhea Ripley get that satisfaction of coming back and helping the underwhelmed women's team win was just a huge payoff that made the fans happy as hell. And then we go to the men's match, where we had all the drama in the world, and this is what WWE fans mean, where we love storytelling. But I love storytelling in the main event. I don't need a dragged out storytelling or a dragged out story that lasts 6 to 8 months with no payoff. This Bloodline thing was sort of Triple H playing it safe with not adding any new people but bringing back Sami Zayn. Then adding a special wrinkle into it with CM Punk and then Paul Heyman, coming back into the fold. We all know CM Punk was a Heyman guy. We all know Roman was, employing Paul Heyman to be his wise man. See, the other guys, Brock and CM Punk, was Heyman's guy. They were Heyman's guy. They were under Heyman's tutelage. But Paul Heyman was Roman Reigns' wise man. He was that third eye. So the drama was crazy, and one part I liked was CM Punk was about to enter the cage, and Roman stopped him. And then when Roman wanted to enter, CM Punk stopped him. And then Roman was helping everyone up except for CM Punk. And then as the match got hot and heavy, Paul Heyman got the guys to, come together and win against the Bloodline. And we seen Roman Reigns hit Solo with the spear. You seen CM Punk hit him with the GTS. Sammy hit him with the kick. The Usos do their favorite move. And the fans got the huge payoff that they deserved. Because it wouldn't have made sense if Solo Sakai would have beat Roman in Saudi Arabia. Then Jacob Fatu would have beat, Jey Uso at SmackDown. And then they would have still won the, Survivor Series match. It wouldn't make sense for Roman's team not to go over. It just wouldn't. It would have made the fans upset. And I'll go back to All Out 2 years ago. And this is when AEW fell off. Because I think at All Out, Takeshita beat Kenny Omega. Okay, that's fine. But no, it was another event when Takeshita beat Kenny Omega. And then Don Callis and, Takeshita has been terrorizing the Elite. And then FTR was tied with the Young Bucks 2-2. So it was going to be a rubber match at All Out in front of 100,000 people. And you would think the Young Bucks would have won the rubber match in front of 100,000 people, since this is AEW's major event. The Young Bucks are the VPs. They're the stars of AEW. They would have beat the team that came in from WWE, FTR, in the rubber match against 100,000 people, and that would have been the payoff. No, FTR goes over. Okay, FTR is a good team that everyone likes. But then Takeshita a guy that has a trench coat and leggings beats Kenny Omega in front of, 100,000 people at Wembley where it didn't make sense at all. Takashi should have never won that match. And I think that's when WWE started, that's when AEW started to fall off after that, because people was like, I don't want to go to the movies and see the Avengers get their ass beat, or I don't want to go watch Deadpool 3 and see Wolverine and Deadpool get their ass beat at the end of the movie. You gotta have the faces have the payoff in these major pay-per-views. And this is what WWE gets, and AEW doesn't. So I feel like Survivor Series, SummerSlam, tongue twister. Like I said, I'm an AEW guy. I like it better than WWE. But I have to call a spade when AEW is not doing well and WWE is doing well. I have to admit it. And after seeing Survivor Series, even though Triple H is playing it safe, doing the same things that Vince is doing, he understands how important that payoff was for CM Punk, Roman Reigns, the Usos, and Sami Zayn to win. They had the damn Avengers on the team. How can the Avengers lose? I don't care how close the bloodline with Fatu, Gorillas of Destiny, and Solo Lord, you can't beat. There's no way you going over Roman Reigns, CM Punk, the Usos, and Sami Zayn. On paper, nobody's beating it. I don't think you can assemble a team greater than that in all of professional wrestling. That's like the dream team. That's the 92 Olympics. So they kind of lost that match against, the bloodline, no matter what. So shout out to WWE because they did a good job with Survivor Series. And they got what AEW doesn't get when faces need to have the payoff. Now, can CM Punk match the physical style of Roman Reigns? Because it seems like we're going to get Roman Reigns versus CM Punk. Because one thing WWE doesn't make it hard for the sheets at all. Like, they put what's in front of you. You pretty much know how things are going to unfold before the pay-per-view even starts. Now, CM Punk coming in SummerSlam was a monkey wrench in the game that no one expected, but we all love because the Heyman history. And at the end of Survivor Series, you hear CM Punk whisper in Heyman's ear, like, I need a favor. So can we get Heyman versus Heyman guy probably at Royal Rumble? Or would Roman want to win that Royal Rumble to be the main event of WrestleMania? I don't know. Or maybe before Mania at the Elimination Chamber, or maybe the Netflix premiere in Los Angeles at the Intuit Dome. They're going to have a major, card. They said it's going to be pay-per-view like for that Netflix debut. But I just wonder if CM Punk can have a match with CM Punk. If CM Punk can have a match with Roman Reigns without getting injured. Because it seems like CM Punk has been frail ever since he got back into professional wrestling. He just can't stay healthy. And when you go against Roman Reigns, he's not the best in-ring worker, but he does have those explosive physical moves, and sometimes his opponent, more than half of the time, is carrying him, and it's like more of the story and the, delayed spots in Roman's matches that makes them good. You see what I'm saying? So, can CM Punk match that? Or does he need another gimmick match where they're throwing, toolboxes in the ring and, having a Hell in a Cell to make it a good match? Because he can't work physically with his own physical limitations. And not alone, what will happen between Heyman and Roman and CM Punk? Because a lot of people already try to guess what's going to happen, before it happens. And, I think Heyman is going to turn on Roman. I think Heyman is going to turn on CM Punk. Just shut the hell up and let the play run. That's what I don't like about the new generation of wrestling. They just can't watch the matches and for what's going on in the ring, but they always want to talk about a storyline, always want to guess what's going to happen before it happens so they can be right. just shut the hell up and let the play run. Let it play itself out. You know what I mean? You don't work for WWE. You don't work in creative. So just shut up and watch the matches. Quit trying to guess the things that's going to happen, because now it makes wrestling more about the storylines and the pushes instead of what's actually going on in the ring with people to pay tickets for. But yeah, I would like to see Roman Reigns face CM Punk, and just to see if CM Punk can match Roman's physicality and if he still has some good wrestling left in him. Because I didn't see too much of CM Punk skill-wise in the Royal Rumble or that Survivor Series match. Only thing I've seen CM Punk too good since he's been in WWE was that Hell in a Cell match. And he had gadgets and tools. So I want to see if he can match Roman's physicality. Now, if anyone needs this bloodline story to keep going, it's Jimmy Uso. Because I would like them to move on from the bloodline. Roman, go on a solo face run. Forget about the Uber Fallout, whatever it's called. Forget about forming another bloodline. Let Jey Uso move on. Let Punk move on. Let Sammy move on. But we can't. Because Jimmy Uso can't. Like, when Roman lost to Cody and everybody went separate ways, Jimmy Uso was the one that no one cared about. No one was asking for Jimmy to come back. No one cared about No Yeet after WrestleMania 40. Everybody was like, day one-ish. It's just me, Uso. Day one-ish. And you were calling main event Jey Uso only to get a mid-card title that they call the Intercontinental title. I don't care if it's prestigious. That's not shit. That's not what the main event guy goes for. You go for the Universal title, what Cody has. Okay? And we always knew Jey was coming back. Like, WWE fans always try to predict the future and know the future because it's so predictable. They knew Jimmy was coming back to help the bloodline fight the new bloodline. But I would like to see WWE only have one bloodline. They don't have enough Samoan wrestlers that's ready to step into the forefront. That's why you added CM Punk and Sami Zayn to the fry. But CM Punk and Sami Zayn and Jey Uso and Roman all proved they can survive without the bloodline. Jimmy Uso can't. It's like Jimmy Uso was like the Outlaws when Tupac died. Without the bloodline and without Jey, Jimmy is like Angelo Dawkins from Street Profits. No one cares. Everybody wants to see Montez Ford step into the starlight or the spotlight. But one thing I gotta get upset about is Triple H not having black people on the pay-per-views, but trying to take advantage of black culture. He did this at ComplexCon. Now, out of the 3,000 celebrities that was at ComplexCon, one of the last people, or not people that even want to see at all, is WWE superstars. And who he brought, along with Jimmy Uso, Cody, and Liv Morgan, was Bianca Belair. But another person he brought was Montez Ford. And they're sitting on this panel where Bianca Belair is like talking, and Montez Ford is just sitting there like Stedman and Oprah, like, Bianca is in steady control of the conversation, and Bianca is the star, and Bianca is going to help her man get over instead of creative and Triple H job of getting him over, putting him on pay-per-views and star matches. Bianca, this is Bianca's boy toy. You know what I mean? Like, it's getting ridiculous. Like, you can't have niggas on the pay-per-view, but you got niggas at ComplexCon. That's the equivalent of not putting MVP on a pay-per-view, but have them at the grand opening of Hip Hop Fish and Chicken. It's stereotypic and controversial. But to make it worse, instead of having Montez Ford do something with Travis Scott, you have Triple H, 55-year-old bald-headed ass, on stage with Travis Scott presenting them the hardcore title, which no one in the crowd even cared. We don't need Travis Scott to tell hype beasts that wrestling is cool. Us, the wrestling community, and us wrestling fans in West Side Gun need to tell people that wrestling is cool. You see what I'm saying? Because the ComplexCon audience does not give a fuck about pro wrestling. They care about resold shoes, overpriced Hellstar, and overpriced name brand clothes. That's what ComplexCon is. Don't make it South by Southwest where it's just everything from everywhere in. And, Triple H gave, Travis Scott the hardcore title, but newsflash Triple H, Travis Scott never acknowledged Cactus Jack as the reason that he took that name or named his label after Cactus Jack. Not one time has Travis Scott mentioned Mankind or Mick Foley or Cactus Jack in none of his songs or put them in his promo. I was the first guy that put a Cactus Jack with Travis Scott and called them the Utopia Tag Team Champions and made like $2,500 off that shirt at Royal Rumble, selling it to people. So now it's like Triple H is putting this full court press on Travis Scott to try to, equate Travis Scott with Cactus Jack when I think Cactus Jack was an indie wrestler. He never was a WWE wrestler. And you putting Travis Scott with Mankind. Mankind and Cactus Jack are two different people. Numb nuts. Okay? So if anything, it should have been a Travis Scott shirt with a Cactus Jack on it instead of a Mankind. That's why Triple H is a culture vulture, and it makes me sick to my stomach. Where it's hard for me to watch fake WWE when Triple H says he doesn't have room for black wrestlers, when I can watch real UFC, where I just seen a black man spin kick a white man and beat him down to his knees, and have another rich white man that has more money than Triple H and Vince McMahon say in his press conference that this black man is the greatest UFC fighter of all time after main event in Madison Square Garden in front of 18,000 people. A black man beat a white man down to his knees and has another white man that's richer than Triple H calling him the GOAT in the press conference. But Triple H is saying that he's not putting black people on pay-per-views. Where wrestling is not real, you can easily smash a black wrestler over and write him over. Smash him over like Jim Cornette did to Batista. You know what I'm saying? So, WWE, it's not about the talent there. It's about the higher-ups and how they do things. And it's a shame that black fans don't care anymore. They just don't like AEW. So they don't care if AEW is doing right and putting together great matches for AEW wrestlers. They won't acknowledge the fact that the WWE is emasculating black men and not using black wrestlers. When they got a ton of great black talent in NXT that can surpass the New Day, that can surpass, Apollo Crews. You got Carmelo Hayes, who's getting a little light. He challenged Cody, but you got Trick Williams and some other people that look like the culture that's in NXT that Triple H could be using, and Triple H does not decide not to. But Triple H is the first one to set his bald-headed 55-year-old Rogaine using ass on stage with with Travis Scott holding up the title. So you don't want to use our culture in the pay-per-views, but you want to use our culture to draw more fans into WWE. I just don't get that. And instead of black people calling them out, they don't want to admit that AEW does better by black people than WWE. They'll just ignore it and watch the WWE and swallow Samoan meat. And that's my problem with WWE fans and black WWE fans. You know what I mean? Okay, y'all took a L. Y'all always said it wasn't no black people in AEW. And WWE is where the black people are. Now, black people are looking like fools in WWE, and black people are thriving in AEW, and black outlets are not acknowledging it. They're acknowledging Samoan meat swallowing. We got to get this thing straightened out. You know what I mean? Because me, as an AEW fan that loves the Young Bucks and the Elite, that wasn't even putting over black wrestlers, is telling you this. I shouldn't be the one that does this. I shouldn't be the one that be telling you that it's some great black talent in WWE that's just not getting used. I shouldn't be the one that's doing it. The person that loves AEW better than WWE. But I'm calling you niggas out because it's not about black wrestlers. It's about it's about y'all liking WWE better than AEW, so you won't do the right thing. Or you want to swallow meat to get in the media room. But like they said, every message is not for the messenger. I know y'all can't afford to go to WrestleMania, so y'all want to be media so y'all can get free Mania and pay-per-view tickets. Okay. But come on, bro. I shouldn't be the only one pointing this out. But like I said, I was the first one pointing it out 3 months ago. And this just got brought up at a press conference last month, which is crazy. It's crazy.
The one and only Cactus Jack.
Yes, sir, man. Yes, sir, man.
The new hardcore champion.
Yeah, I'll take this. I gotta put this shit to the test, though, man. When my first time I can put this to the test, man. Just let me know my first time I can put this shit to the test. Just let me know. Just let me know when I can put this shit to the test with the first date. With my first date for this.
First date for that, January 6th.
Where we at, though? January 6th, where?
Los Angeles, California.
Say less.
Live to the world on Netflix at the Inuit Dome.
Yeah. I like that. Chase me, give me some, man. Let me show you something, though, man. Yeah.
Just come outside for the night.
So I was watching Full Gear, and what caught my attention is something I really like about AEW, but I might sound like a hypocrite because what I said in the last segment. But I think I was right in the last segment. Like, it's no way Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks should have lost at Wembley the first time ever in front of 100,000 people. And I'll stand on it. That was when AEW started to go downhill. Afterwards. And another reason, I think AEW might be making the same mistake WCW did with making more shows. Now, when it was Wednesday Dynamite was better than SmackDown. It was better than Raw. It was better than New Japan. It was the best thing we've seen in 5 years because it was only one show. You had a one shot. You had a Wednesday night at 8. Then they came out with Rampage, and then Rampage was good, but it started to fall off to the point where it was unwatchable, and now I'm like, this gotta be just for advertising dollars. Why are these people on the screen? And then you had Collision, where Collision got to the point where it wasn't using the same wrestlers as Dynamite. it was using separate wrestlers, and they didn't tell people that at the beginning. So you missed the Young Bucks and Kenny on Wednesday. You wasn't going to get the Young Bucks and Kenny on Saturday. You were going to get Blackpool Combat Club, Bullet Club Code. And that might have got fans upset by saying, oh, these aren't big stars. These are mid-carders. You see what I'm saying? Like, and I think AEW might have started losing interest when they're not being transparent. Now, it's another way you can say these are the mid-card wrestlers or the garbage wrestlers that's going to wrestle on Friday. You can say Rampage is for up-and-coming talent and enhancement talent. Because Rampage started to become NXT developmental without saying NXT developmental. You see what I'm saying? So they're pulling in advertising dollars from TNT without the wrestlers that were told to TNT that was going to bring them in. So you got advertisers coming in from like mid-carders, like Daniel Garcia at the time, Jericho Appreciation Society, his lackeys, you know what I mean? Or you had the luchadors coming in like, I forgot his name. What is his name with the mask? God damn. He wasn't over, so I don't know him. This show I saw the Overboys, but they weren't over, so I don't know who they were. They were on there, but it wasn't Orange. Sometimes you'll get Orange Cassidy. Sometimes you get a Ruby Riott, but you wasn't getting that all the time. And for a period of time, it was just mid-card city, and you wasn't going to get nobody. And now people are saying, okay, instead of saying, I'm only going to watch Dynamite, because Dynamite is going to be the best one out of the three. No, they would watch all three, and they would like Dynamite, but be disappointed in Rampage and disappointed in Collision, and then just calling the whole promotion garbage. And instead of, watching Dynamite, which is the one good show, you're taking 3 shows and judging 2 out of the 3 of being not good, and that one Dynamite, which is good, you're not even worried about that, because the one on Friday and Saturday is the last impression you've seen of AEW, and it wasn't that good. So what Bischoff was saying, that when he had Thunder, the roster was spread too thin to have 2 major, TV shows on networks with that roster. Now, the thing WWE did, which was smart, was that SmackDown and Raw, they broke it up into 2 rosters. And WWE has 50 years of history behind it. They had decades of bad programming and survived because they was the only game in town. It seems like WWE gets better only when it's another promotion, like AEW. So when AEW came back to life, that's when WWE actually got good again. So yeah, I think AEW, might have made the same mistake WCW did when they fall off. But you can't blame AEW because you're trying to expand, you're trying to make more money for the company, you're trying to make more money than TNT. No matter how bad Rampage and Collision is, they're bringing in more advertising dollars than what would be on there before. But the consumer doesn't look at it that way. They want that funk. And if Rampage is constantly being bad and Collision's constantly being bad, they're going to remember them 2 shows because those are the last 2 shows they've seen and not how good Dynamite was. But it's quality over quantity. But in television, it's not like that. It's about advertising dollars. Well, one thing I like to say about AEW is they made Jaws drop at Full Gear. And it was because Cal Fletcher beat, Will Ospreay. Now, it was a good match. You had the oohs, the ahs, the near falls. But when that referee smacks that 3rd count, and that ding, 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 and it's that face that had his shoulders on the ground, it just, people's eyes dropped. So now, that's the surprises you get in real sports. You see what I'm saying? Like, you get upsets, like the Oakland Raiders beating the Baltimore Ravens, which was the best team in the NFL at the time, and Oakland was the worst. It's like the fans' jaws dropped. Like, we can't believe this. Same thing with Ricochet losing to Kakeska. Ricochet is a big free agent, so we talking about Ricochet is going to get smashed over and defeat Kakeska. Kakeska won, and the crowd jaws just dropped. It was like you could hear a pin drop after that referee smashed the 3 on the ground. And that's the upsets we like to see in wrestling. You'll never have that on Raw or a pay-per-view where Roman loses. Even though if he doesn't have a title, or, you know what I mean? Like, Roman or Cody loses to an underdog, or a less popular wrestler that's like this, that has a better skill level, but has the same fanfare as that wrestler. Like, Cal Fletcher and Takeska got huge followings because AEW values work rate more than pushes. So, even though those smarks, the smart fans, the if you know fans, like, they know how good Takeska is and how good Cal Fletcher is. But you also got a lot of fans that watch both and are all about the pushes and are shocked that Will Ospreay and, Ricochet lost those matches. Now, Bobby Lashley beating Swerve, I don't think they were too surprised about that because you pretty much can predict who's going to win on a pay-per-view. Because on the go-home show, whoever gets fucked up or gets their ass kicked or beat up and threw out the ring on the go-home show is going to win on the pay-per-view. So ain't no way Swerve don't run in, beat the crap out of Bobby Lashley, and then Bobby Lashley don't lose in the pay-per-view. Just like it was no way Fatu was going to beat the hell out of Uso and pin him clean, and then the Bloodline beat the OG Bloodline with CM Punk and Sami Zayn in Survivor Series. Just not going to happen. That's why they set it up for you to make it, you think that way, just for the psychology, but it never happened. But I just felt like jaws dropped and people were surprised, and that's the thing we need in AEW. Just not at Wembley. The first time ever doing it in front of 100,000 people. You needed Kenny and the Young Bucks to go over.